My children, I wish that today your hearts may find relief, hope, and comfort in the words of the Virgin Mary, and that, united by faith, we may discern the right steps on this spiritual journey, which is not easy, but is profoundly supported by heaven. Before we proceed together, I invite you to join this channel, for by doing so you will remain connected to the most recent sacred messages and guidance that strengthens faith in daily life. Today, I bring you a message born from the maternal love of Mary, a message of comfort, direction, and hope for this time marked by uncertainties and trials. Receive these words with an open heart and prepare with love and faith not only your soul, but also your family for the days to come. Feel welcomed, dear brothers and sisters in Christ. For amidst the pains and challenges of life, it becomes even more essential to build within our homes an atmosphere of peace, love, and holiness. The home should not be merely a material shelter, but a space where the soul rests, where the family is strengthened, and where God is invited to dwell. Every family is called to build a sacred home, sustained by love and peace as a firm foundation for the spiritual and human growth of all. The home is the living heart of the family and should flourish like a garden of love and serenity. Just as I cared for Jesus in the simplicity and silence of the house in Nazareth, I desire that each family build a refuge of peace, where prayer and love are the pillars that support each step. When the weight of worries seems suffocating and challenges accumulate, prayer reveals itself as the most powerful weapon of protection for our families. For praying is not just repeating words, it is creating a living bond with God. It is allowing heaven to touch the earth. Each prayer raised, each Hail Mary prayed amidst pain, erects an invisible wall of protection that envelopes loved ones and guards them from life's storms. A profound way to attract divine grace and protection into the home is to consecrate it with sacred objects, such as images of the Holy Family, the Virgin Mary, and the crucified Christ, for they are not mere adornments, but living signs of God's presence. Channels of grace that protect every corner of the house and make the heart feel the care and peace of heaven. By placing these objects, you transform your home into a small sanctuary, a consecrated and protected space, where images, crucifixes, and symbols of faith carry grace and help to ward off the negative influences of the world. And in moments when everything seems to crumble, remember that God remains a safe refuge and an inexhaustible source of strength. Prayer is the key that opens the doors to divine protection and infinite love. When you pray, you not only draw closer to God, but you build a spiritual barrier that guards your family and sustains each one in trials. Whenever anxiety tries to dominate your heart or tension knocks at your door, remember that prayer opens the path to peace and God's protection. For He is our refuge, and by praying, we invite His presence into every moment of life. Now understand one of the most important pillars in the mission of protecting your family. Prayer united with the conscious use of sacred objects as true instruments of spiritual defense. Prayer is not an empty gesture, but an invisible force, capable of uniting hearts and forming a spiritual shield over the home. When threats arise and difficulties seem to surround on all sides, prayer transforms into a firm wall. Each time the family prays, it strengthens not only its relationship with God, but also the love between its members, supporting one another and weathering life's storms together. Prayer strengthens the entire family, especially in times of greatest trial, whether brief or prolonged. Each prayer creates a protection around the one who offers it, for it is not merely a request, but a surrender of the heart to divine grace. Thus, prayer brings inner peace, strengthens family bonds, and allows God's love to flow and remain alive within each home. My beloved children, listen attentively to what I tell you, for I do not speak to cause fear, but to awaken your sleeping hearts. Long ago, before the noise of the world became so loud and faith so distracted, a simple means of protection was revealed to my children, a humble sign that many have ignored over the years. Today, I remind you again because this time calls for vigilance, discernment, and a return to the essential, and you know the power of the sacraments, and they are indeed powerful. They are living sources of God's grace, holy paths that strengthen the soul, heal invisible wounds, and seal the heart in the light of my Son, Jesus Christ. Never despise them, never abandon them. However, my children, know that God, in His infinite wisdom, allows simple signs to exist even in daily life, to remind you of heaven's protection in your homes. There is a sign that many have forgotten about it. A sign that does not replace faith or the sacraments, but acts as a living reminder of spiritual vigilance. A plant placed in homes with righteous faith and a trusting heart, not as superstition, but as a symbol of protection and spiritual order. Many of you do not know this, and others have heard but have not understood. Therefore, I tell you again, the sword of St. George, when placed in your homes with respect and spiritual awareness, recalls the presence of angelic protection. It symbolizes the sword of justice, the cutting away of evil that tries to infiltrate divided homes through harsh words, lack of inner prayer, and the absence of God at the center of the family. It is not the plant itself that acts, my children, but what it represents when your faith is aligned with heaven. Just as Saint Michael wields his sword against the darkness, this visible sign in your homes reminds you that the home should be a territory of light, peace, and vigilance. Where there is true faith, angels draw near. Where there is spiritual order, evil does not remain. Where there is humility, the enemy finds no rest. Many have strayed from simplicity, seeking only the extraordinary. Others have forgotten to care for their own spiritual home, allowing discord, envy, pride, and indifference to create breaches. I tell you, my children, protect your homes, beginning with your hearts. The home is an extension of the soul. If the soul is in disarray, the home weakens. If the home weakens, the family suffers. This sign was revealed long ago, but only a few kept it in silence, without ostentation, without confusion. Do not make this a reason for discussion or judgment. Do not impose, do not ridicule, do not transform it into an empty ritual. Everything that is born of faith must remain in simplicity. May your homes be places where angels find rest. May your homes be surrounded not only by walls, but by living faith, by respect, by daily conversion. Remember, evil fears where there is light, and light remains where God is remembered every day, even in small gestures. I walk with you. I observe your silent struggles, your hidden tears, your efforts to remain standing in a world that tries to distance you from God. Do not forget, protection begins in faith, manifests itself in obedience, and is strengthened in vigilance. What I reveal to you is not new. It has only been forgotten, covered by the dust of time and the distraction of a humanity that has distanced itself from inner silence. Heaven has always spoken simply, but the world has learned to despise that which does not seem grand in human eyes. Since ancient times, my children, God has allowed certain signs to exist in creation to remind you of his constant presence. Nature was not created only to sustain your body, but also to instruct your soul. Everything that was created carries a purpose, and when used with righteous faith, it becomes a living memory of the divine order. I repeat to you with love and firmness, the sacraments are sacred. They are direct sources of grace. They are pillars of Christian life. Nothing replaces them. No visible sign has greater power than the Eucharist, than sincere confession, than a truly converted heart. However, my children, God allows signs that awaken, that protect, that remind man that he does not walk alone. There are homes that have lost peace not for lack of possessions, but for lack of spiritual vigilance. The enemy does not enter all at once. He infiltrates slowly, through division, coldness, lack of dialogue, hidden pride, and estrangement from God. When the home becomes spiritually neglected, evil finds openings. Therefore, I call you to care for your home as you care for your body. The sword of St. George, placed in your homes with faith and discernment, becomes a visible sign of protection and spiritual warning. She reminds us that that home belongs to God, that light is sought there, that evil is rejected there. She does not act through magic. She is not an amulet. She is not superstition. She is a constant reminder that the home must remain under the guard of the Lord's angels. Just as the sword separates, cuts, and defends, this sign reminds us that we must cut away everything that contaminates our homes. Harsh words, impure thoughts, silent envy, old resentments, practices that drive away the presence of God. It is no use placing external signs if the interior remains in disorder. Heaven looks first at the heart. Many of you do not know this because you have failed to teach simplicity to new generations. Others know, but are afraid of judgment, laughter, and misunderstanding. I tell you, do not fear. What is done with faith needs no applause. What is done with love needs no explanation. Angels approach homes where there is respect, where there is humility, where one seeks to live according to the teachings of my Son. Where the protection of heaven is invoked with sincerity, evil does not remain. Where there is living faith, the enemy weakens. Where there is vigilance, darkness does not take root. My children, care for your homes as small sanctuaries. Do not expect great signs from heaven while you neglect the small daily calls. A protected home is not one that never faces difficulties, but one that, even in pain, remains firm in God. A protected home is one where peace is sought, even when the world promotes conflict. Do not transform this sign into a reason for division among brothers. Do not judge those who do not understand. Love always precedes correction. Silence often protects more than 1,000 words. Live the example. Testimony speaks louder than any explanation. I am with you, my children. I walk through your homes. I observe your restless nights. I hear your silent pleas. Do not think that you are abandoned. Heaven acts in ways that you often do not perceive. God's protection manifests itself in what is simple, discreet, and faithful. Remain vigilant. Strengthen your faith. Guard your homes. Guard your families. Guard your hearts. This time calls for discernment, constancy, and a return to God. And I, as a mother, do not cease to warn you, nor to cover you with my mantle of care. My beloved children, come to me, my children, not as those who flee, but as those who recognize the need for protection, care, and guidance. Come to me with open hearts, for a mother never closes her arms to those who seek her sincerely. I call you not by chance, but because I see the dangers that surround your homes, your families, and your thoughts. Come to me so that protection may reach your home. Many take care of the walls, the possessions, and the appearances, but forget to protect that which sustains the house. The presence of God in the heart. A home without spiritual vigilance becomes fragile, vulnerable to divisions, to words that they wound, the silence that distances, the indifference that cools love. When you draw near to me, heaven draws near with you. Come to me, my children, so that your homes may be enveloped by the peace that the world cannot offer. It is not the absence of problems that protects a home, but the presence of God in every decision, in every gesture, in every word. Where I am welcomed, angels find space to act. Where there is humility, evil loses strength. Come to me so that you may not fall into temptation. The enemy does not present himself clearly. He disguises himself, confuses, seduces little by little. He begins in thoughts, grows in small choices, and strengthens when the heart distances itself from God. Many fall not through weakness, but through carelessness. That is why I call you to constant vigilance. My children, no one falls all at once. First comes distraction, then justification, then estrangement. When you realize it, the heart is already tired and faith weakened. Come to me before weariness overcomes you. Come to me before temptation finds a place in your weaknesses. I know your hidden struggles, those you tell no one. I know the silent temptations, the repeated thoughts, the inner battles you fight alone. Do not be ashamed to seek help. He who recognizes his weakness has already taken the first step to remain standing. Come to me, my children, to learn to guard your hearts. A guarded heart is a vigilant heart. A vigilant heart chooses better, speaks better, loves better. When the heart is strengthened in God, temptations lose their luster, and evil finds no dwelling place. Do not wait for danger to be visible to seek protection. The greatest battle takes place within the soul. Protect your homes, beginning with yourselves. If the father and mother are steadfast, the house remains steadfast. If the heart is in God, the home remains at peace. I am with you every day. I do not turn away when you err, nor do I tire when you fall. I call you again, with patience and love, because I wish to see you protected, strengthened, and persevering. My call is maternal, but it is also urgent. Come to me, my children. Guard your homes. Guard your faith. Guard your choices. Time demands attention, firmness, and a return to God. And I, as a mother, continue to guide you, step by step, away from temptations and into the light that never fades. I call you because I see the weight you carry, the silent struggles you wage when no one else is watching, the temptations that approach when your hearts are weary and your faith weakened. Come to me before the world confuses you, before evil finds space in your frailties. Come to me so that protection may reach your home, not just as a shelter of walls, but as a living place where peace dwells and love is preserved. Many homes have lost their serenity because they have distanced themselves from the presence of God, allowing haste, harshness, and indifference to take the place of dialogue, patience, and inner prayer. When you welcome me, heaven leans over your house and angels watch over every corner. Come to me, my children, for the home is the first spiritual battlefield. It is there that the enemy tries to sow division, cool love, fuel old resentments, and transform small conflicts into deep wounds. I tell you, where there is vigilance, evil does not take root. Where there is humility, discord does not remain. Where God is remembered, darkness dissipates. Come to me so that you may not fall into temptation. Temptation rarely presents itself as something clearly evil. It disguises itself as relief, justification, false freedom. Promises rest, but delivers emptiness. Promises pleasure, but generates guilt. Promises strength, but leaves the soul weakened. Therefore, I call you to be attentive, for the distracted heart becomes easy prey. My children, temptation grows when the heart strays from silence and vigilance. When you neglect your soul, when you nurture negative thoughts, when you allow pride to speak louder than truth, you open doors that should remain closed. I do not say this to accuse you, but to awaken you. Come to me when you feel you are losing strength. Come to me when discouragement visits you. Come to me when loneliness seems too heavy. A mother recognizes the weary steps of her children even before they ask for help. I know every hidden tear, every prayer you haven't found words for. Come to me to learn to resist. To resist is not to be harsh, but to be vigilant. It is not to trust in yourself, but to trust in God. He who relies only on his own strength falls easily. He who relies on heaven remains standing even in the greatest storms. When you draw near to me, I lead you to my Son, and in him you find true strength. Protect your homes, beginning with your hearts. A disordered heart creates a confused home. A peaceful heart creates a protected home. Do not neglect the small daily choices, for they are what build or weaken your spiritual life. Evil does not win all at once. It wins when it finds constancy in negligence. Come to me, my children, so that you may learn to close the doors that do not lead to the light. Not everything that seems harmless strengthens the soul. Not everything that pleases the eyes edifies the heart. Discern, watch, choose wisely. Heaven assists you when you seek to do good, even in silence. I do not abandon you when you stumble. I do not turn away when you err. On the contrary, I draw even closer, hoping that you will recognize the need to begin again. The fall does not define who you are. The return reveals your faith. There is always time to return. There is always a way for those who decide to rise. Come to me, my children. Time demands firmness, but it also demands tenderness. Be strong without losing love. Be vigilant without losing hope. Guard your homes, guard your families, guard your souls. I walk with you. I cover you with my care, and I intercede for each of you before God. Abide with me, in protection, in vigilance, in perseverance. Where a mother is present, evil does not prevail. Where God is welcomed, light always finds space to remain. Do not allow fear to govern your hearts, nor the confusion of the world to weaken what God has planted in you. Faith is the first wall that protects the home. It is the lit candle that prevents darkness from finding space to enter. Strengthen your faith, my children, because no evil enters where God is remembered, respected, and welcomed. Evil seeks breaches, seeks distractions, seeks weary hearts and divided homes. Where faith is asleep, it approaches easily. Where faith is alive, it does not remain. Be firm, my children. Firmness does not come from hardness, but from trust in God. Many think that being steadfast means never feeling fear or weakness, but I tell you, being steadfast means remaining in God even when your heart trembles. It means continuing to choose good even though the path seems heavy. It is about not giving up on faith when answers are slow in coming. I protect you, my children, as a mother protects her little ones. I walk through your homes. I cover you with my mantle of care. I intercede for you even when you do not know how to ask. My protection makes no noise. It does not impose itself. It does not humiliate. It acts in silence, warding off dangers that you often do not even perceive. Strengthen your faith within your home. A protected home is not one where there are never difficulties, but one where, amidst difficulties, God remains the center. Where there is respect, forgiveness, and vigilance, evil does not take root. Where there is pride, indifference, and forgetfulness of God, the home weakens. My children, do not let routine extinguish your faith. Do not allow weariness to distance you from spiritual vigilance. Small acts of negligence open doors that should remain closed. Small gestures of faith, on the contrary, build great walls of protection. Be firm in your daily choices. Guard your words, your thoughts, and your actions. What enters the heart is reflected in the home. What is cultivated in the soul manifests itself in the family. When you take care of the inner self, the outer self falls into place. I remind you, you are not alone. Heaven has not turned away from you. Even when the world seems immersed in conflict, even when humanity is lost in greed and pride, God remains attentive to the hearts that remain faithful. And I, as a mother, continue to call you to perseverance. Strengthen your faith, my children, because it is the key that closes the doors to evil and opens paths to peace. Be firm, because firmness sustains the home in difficult times. Trust, because trust keeps the soul standing. My beloved children, in the face of everything that happens around you, in the face of the visible and invisible signs of this time, I call you with a mother's voice. Strengthen your faith, not a superficial faith, sustained only by words, but a living faith, firm, rooted in the heart and reflected in your daily choices. True faith is not manifested only when everything is going well, but above all when the world becomes confusing and the path seems narrow. Strengthen your faith, my children, so that no evil finds entry into your home. Evil does not force closed doors. He enters where he finds neglect, division, and forgetfulness of God. He feeds on lack of vigilance, silent pride, and loss of hope. Therefore I tell you, take care of your home as you take care of what you love most, for it is a refuge, a shelter, a field where faith must flourish. Be firm, my children. Firmness is necessary in this time when many are led astray by the voices of the world and turn away from the truth. Be firm when you are tested, when you are misunderstood, when you are tempted to give up on good. Firmness does not make you hard. It makes you constant. A heart firm in God is not shaken by any wind. Many ask why peace has departed from so many homes. I tell you with love, peace departs when God ceases to be the center. When dialogue is replaced by accusation, when forgiveness is exchanged for pride, when silence becomes contempt, the home weakens spiritually. But where there is humility, reconciliation, and faith, peace returns, even if difficulties remain. I protect you, my children, even when you do not realize it. How many times has danger been averted without your knowing? How many times has evil tried to approach and been prevented by my intercession? A mother's protection is not always seen, but it is felt in the peace that remains even amidst the storms. I do not abandon those who trust. Strengthen your faith within your homes. May your homes not only be places of rest for the body, but also spaces for the care of the soul. Do not allow your homes to become spiritually cold. Where faith cools, love weakens. Where love weakens, evil finds space. Be firm also in small things, for they are what sustains spiritual life. A word spoken with love, a gesture of patience, an attitude of forgiveness, a decision made consciously. All this builds invisible walls of protection. Heaven observes what the world despises. My children, do not wait for great signs to believe that you are protected. Protection manifests itself in perseverance, in the ability to rise after a fall, in the daily choice to remain in good even when it is difficult. The enemy tires of those who do not give up, of those who continue to trust even when wounded. I ask you, do not let fear govern your decisions. Fear paralyzes, confuses, and weakens faith. Trust in God, on the contrary, strengthens, clarifies, and sustains. When you trust, heaven acts. When you persevere, the light remains lit. Be firm, my children, because the time demands spiritual courage. Not the courage that shouts, but the courage that remains faithful in silence. Not the courage that judges, but the courage that loves. Not the courage that imposes, but the courage that witnesses. This is how a protected home is built, with living faith, constant love, and vigilance of the heart. I walk with you. I am not distant from your struggles, nor indifferent to your pain. I know every worry you carry, every fear you try to hide, every battle you fight in silence. As a mother, I remain by your side, always pointing to God, the source of all protection. Strengthen your faith, my children. Guard your homes. Be firm in your choices, constant in good, vigilant in your hearts. Where faith is strengthened, evil does not prevail. Where trust in God remains, the light never goes out. I protect you, today and always, with the care of a mother who never abandons her children.